I'm looking at this tree at the moment, nice little scene in portrait mode. I've already done the metering. Now let's look at the lasering. You can see I've turned the laser on. I can't even see it on that tree anywhere. Let's go over and find it. Well, I thought I was pointed towards the tree. Can't seem to find the spot. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to be showing you the LD light meter from Qi that was sent to me all the way from China. And this light meter is similar, very similar to the others that I've featured on this channel over the last year or so. But this one, it's got a laser on it as well for you to judge your distances or measure your distances on cameras that don't have through the lens focusing. That's done. I'm going to point it in this area. Tell me if you can see it. It's a great little device, fantastic idea, but my little ROWI Rangefinder would have been quicker. You guys know that I do love a folding camera and I regularly shoot them as well. This one's 6x9, this one's 6x6. This one, to aid my focusing, I've got a ROWI Rangefinder. Sound like Jonathan Ross. A ROWI, Christ, I've got a speech impediment coming on. A ROWI Rangefinder on here, which I've used for quite some years, and it's fantastic. It does everything I want to do for focusing. Just look through, brings the subject together, check on the back, gives me my distance to dial into the lens, and I always get a decent focus with that. And I remember showing this off on the channel a few years ago, and someone in the comments said, what about if I used a laser distance machine or pointer, whatever they're called, probably the ones that builders use, would that work? And I was like, I don't know, I've never tried one before, but I wouldn't fancy walking around with a laser pointer like that to try and judge my distances. But these guys have put one inside a light meter, and I looked online and I haven't seen anything like this distance finder for photography online. Maybe they're the first, I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you know of any others, but I certainly don't. So when it came through the door, I was quite excited to try it out. So straight away, like most of us when something comes through the door, I put it on the camera and went out in the garden. And I thought, how good this going to be for my folding cameras? I started to use the pointer and I couldn't even bleed and see where the end of the point was. It was daylight. This is about 2.5 meters just here. But then I suppose if you're going to shoot those distances, you put the camera into infinite and shoot away. These come into their own if you want to shoot 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 feet in front of you and get a nice sharp focus, especially if you're in somewhere like the woodland area where the light's a bit more subdued. You're going to see the point straight away. There it is, see it? Right there on that leaf. I can see it in the sunlight. I'm surprised, I didn't think I'd see that. So we'll have a little look around this light meter. I'll show you it in detail, and then we'll go out with one of these folders and we'll take some shots on it and see how it performs. Get away. I can't even see it on that tree anywhere. Let's go over and find it. It's got to be near me somewhere. Okay. So it comes in this nice little fancy box, nicely packaged. You can see on the side, Black Pro version 7. Don't know what that means. Some information there, don't know what that says. It's all in Chinese. And we open it up, we've got some stuff here. There's your instructions there. It's all Chinese. If you ever get stuck with Chinese instructions like this, you can always take a photograph and translate it in Google. Anyway, it's pretty self-explanatory how to use it. There's the light meter there. Let's take it out of the box, turn it on. You've got one function button there and a jog wheel as well. And on the front, you've got your laser pointer lens and also your light meter. At the moment, I'm in aperture priority, so I select the aperture and the light meter will automatically give me the right shutter speed for my photograph. I can change that to shutter priority if I want. Just click the button twice, it goes up to shutter priority. And if I keep my finger pressed on the button, it goes to the ISO, which means I can now change my ISO, and it goes all the way to 8000 ISO, 8000 ISO there. And the shutter speed goes to 1/8000th of a second as well. And the apertures are f1 all the way to f64, and that null means there's no distance. That's where the distance scale is. If I use this little tiny button on the side, I could turn the laser pointer on. Nothing's there, but if I now point the laser at a subject, it's telling me that it's 1.94 feet away, and that's my wall in front of me. So this little button also controls the laser, so if you half press the button for a few seconds, the laser then comes on. There you go, now the laser stays on for you to do your focusing. And on the back of it, you can also unscrew the hot shoe or the cold shoe, and you can move it over so it can fit your camera nicely. Let's have a look on the side. There's a USB port, and that's where the magnet goes. So we've got a little instruction card there for the sight. You can see that's where it goes. Put it on there like so. It's magnetic. There you go. Clips in, and now you sort of look through there onto the sight at the end. You can see that at the end there. Look through there, and that's kind of like your aiming focus. So that's the laser light meter that was sent to me. Let's load these cameras up with film, get out to the woods, try and take some nice photographs, and hopefully in focus photographs as well. So I'm in the woods and I'm locked and loaded, ready to go. I've got 2 cameras in my bag, and I'm going to be trying out this light meter stroke laser pointer measuring device as well. I'm actually looking forward to this. I'm quite excited to see if this is going to work, because if it does, it will be really handy going forward for my folder photography. So I'm going to point it in this area. Tell me if you can see it. There it is, see it? Right there on that leaf. On this leaf here I'm shining it, just here. So I'm just measuring my distance on a particular leaf, trying to get a reading, and that is about 1 metre here. You've got to make sure that the dot is on the part that you want to focus, otherwise if it slips off and goes over the back, you're going to get a completely different reading. Let's take the shot and move on. Done. And this will be a lot easier. The sun's coming down, all I've got to do is pinpoint the laser dot on the tree and get my distance. So if we come back a little bit more, I'm going to keep coming back. About here, I want to take my picture. Can I see it on the tree? Yep, perfectly. I can see it on the tree. No worries there. And it says 2.3 metres. Okay, so all I'm going to do is same again. I'm going to laser dot on the tree, find my distance, do a bit of light metering, and shoot as whatever the light meter says. There's no point in carrying on showing you more of that video footage in the woods, taking pictures. All I got was a blank film. Fomapan 400. Not the film's fault. It's not my fault. Partly is. I developed this in Rodnell. My trusty Rodnell, which wasn't so trusty. It'd gone off. You'd almost look at it and think, I know you guys are thinking, he's fixed that film first. Typical beginner mistake. No, I didn't, and I have done that in the past. I didn't fix it first. The Rodnell had gone off. So after developing, fixed the film, washed it, got it out. That's what I got. Straight away, there's no edge markings on there. And I knew straight off that Rodnell's gone bad. Usually that stuff lasts bloody ages, you know. But it had gone off. And that's what I got from it. So if any of you beginners are watching this channel at the moment or watching this video, and you do get one of your films back like this, there's one of a few reasons. One, that you fixed the film first, which is a common mistake. We've all done it. Your camera, possibly, there's no exposure on the film, so maybe your camera is stuck with a closed aperture. There's another possible reason. And then you develop and then fix, and you get a film like this. But if you did that, the development will give you the edge rebates. So that would give you a good telltale sign. And one I did there, which is the developer's bad. So there you go, that's what happened. So I'll talk you through the rest of that part so you know exactly what I was up to. One long press should... Ah, there you go. Okay, let's have a look at the tree. What's it? Where is it dying? There it is, there. I walk over. Ow! There it is, can you see it? Actually, it's covered my hand. There it is, there. So, by leaving that on the camera in that mode, it's just going to keep flashing. You can see it flashing there. And it's looking at the tree, and it's telling me that that tree is 3.67 metres away. So it did exactly what it said on the tin. it just worked really well. I was walking around the woods looking at compositions, and then as soon as I saw a composition, I just pointed the laser at whatever I wanted to focus on and pressed the button, and it returned a distance for me to dial into the lens. It's very simple to use. The only thing is I was on a tripod on most of the shots actually, and I had to take the camera or lift the camera up with the tripod to try and find my distance, because with it on the tripod I was all over the place. If I had my ROWI Rangefinder on top, I just come down and look through, you know, because I'm all focused in, but I had to lift it up and just do a bit of this to try and get the laser pointer on whatever I was focusing on. I feel like it's pointing away. I feel like the laser thing is actually slowing me down compared to a normal rangefinder, because I now need to look at that tree and see where the dot is so I can get my focus distance. It's probably going to be near enough infinite anyway. Ah, there it is there, I can see it. It's just a case of looking to see where it is. It's quite a good game to play if you're into playing games instead of taking photographs. There it is there. So it is on the tree. So I can go back to the camera and work out the distance. Doesn't have to be dead centre, as long as I know roughly where the tree is. So you can, yeah, I can see it now. But it was quite fun to use. It was much easier to use on the bigger stuff like tree trunks and branches and stuff like that. But with leaves, it was a little bit more tricky, just trying to find that point on whatever I was shooting. I've got the laser on. You can see it running there, and it's pointing at that tree, and I can see it perfectly from where I am. If we go over, you can see there's the laser there flashing. It's actually a nice little indicator as well to get your composition, I suppose. That's pretty much going to be maybe the middle of my shot. Thing is, I need to make sure I have to turn that off during the photograph, because it could come up in the photograph. How about that one? And that was when I came back and developed the film, and then I dissected my rod nose actually and cut it open and put it onto a piece of paper to have a look. It was all completely sort of crystallised, and I've had that before with rod nose, but it hadn't gone off. But this one had totally been shot. So you know, you live and learn, don't you? In all honesty, I found this laser actually really enjoyable to use and very, very accurate. I did a quick test in one of my rooms. I'll show you that now on one of the cameras that I've got, a Yashica Mac 124G. I did a quick test on there, and then I went off back to the wood to take more photographs using the laser pointer. So I've just set the light meter on top of the camera, and I'm pointing it to the wall. It says 4.36 feet. So according to my app, 4.36 feet is 52.3 inches. So let's do that now. So to the dot, all the way to the laser. And it's coming out just over 52.1 inches there. So I want to take a picture of this Yashica camera. It's not ideal because, you know, this isn't really a close-up camera, but we'll take it anyway. So I need to position my tripod and then get my focus. Now this camera is 3.5 feet, it's minimum focus point, so I need to get the camera at 3.5 feet away, then take the picture. So I set that to 3.5 feet, and now I'm going to use the laser pointer onto the camera. Okay, it's pointing at the camera now, and it's giving me 3.02 feet. So I need to come back a little bit, so I've got 3.5. Right, I'm back on the camera. 3.51, excellent. So I'm in the right ballpark for this photograph, and the meter tells me 1/5 of a second at f5.6. Let's get that light closer. Let's get a bit more light on that. Now the meter says 1/15 of a second. It's not ideal, is it? I'll check it on my light meter. Yeah, my light meter says 1/60 of a second. So if I was relying on this light meter, it says 1/15 of a second at f5.6. My incident meter reading, which I would always trust, says 1/60 of a second. So I'm going to take two shots, one 1/10 of a second because I haven't got 1/15, and another one that will play fair, 1/50 of a second. So I'll take two shots. Shot done. And we'll do another one at 1/50 of a second. So frame number 2, next shot. Done. Here he is, look. Jules, the one-eyed pirate Shih Tzu. He's still around. He's deaf. He's pretty much blind now. So he needs a lot of pampering and a lot of love. And you need to go to the groomers soon, don't you, mate? He loves it down the groomers. Say hello to the people. Say hello to the people. Right, if I put you down, stop bumping into my tripod. But not to give up, I then took me Franca Solida camera and the roll of Cosmo 100 film. I went back to the woods because I wanted to get those shots in, and this is the photographs that I come back with. And this time I got some decent photographs. I developed those negatives in 510 Pyro and I got some nice photographs from it. Whether I'll go in the darkroom with any of them, I don't know, but they can go in my folder, and you know, in case I ever do want to go in the darkroom and make a print of them. Which brings me on to, I read an article recently online that there's a laboratory in Japan that develops film. And there's a trend of youngsters now going into these labs to get their films developed. And when the lab guys go to give them the negatives, they just go, "Nah, I don't want that, mate. Just throw them in the bin. I just want the digital scans." You what? I put a post on my Instagram about it. I thought it was highly funny. Some people will think it's sad, but I found it funny. And a few people messaged me who've got labs and said, yeah, it's happened to them. Youngsters are going in, getting their films developed, and they're not interested in keeping the negatives. Just want to take the scans and stick them on their phone or whatever. So that made me chuckle. Guys, listen, if you're new to film photography, it's free. You don't have to trash them. You don't have to trash your negs. They're going to give them to you. So take them, store them away and file them. And in 10, 15, 20, 30 years time, you might have a darkroom and you can make some prints with those negs. They'll certainly outlast your digital copies, I should imagine. If you know your cloud password in 40 years' time, I don't know. Just take it from me and some of the others with a bit of experience. Keep your negs. Don't trash them. They're worth keeping. That's what you're shooting film for. So if you've got folding cameras and you're interested in one of these light meters, jump on my website. I'm not in affiliation with them guys at all. All I've said to them is give my viewers a 5% discount if they click on this certain link. So I'll put that link in the description. I don't get nothing for it. I'm happy to pass it on to you guys. So if you're interested in one of these little light meters with a laser as well for your distancing on folding cameras or any other camera that you can't focus through the lens, I'll put that link in the description. I like using this, and I'm certainly going to use it again and again and again with my folding cameras. Not only that, it's quite fun to use as well. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video, and thanks very much for watching. Thanks very much for everyone that supports the channel. Hope you liked the light meter. I certainly did, and I'll catch you next time.